to the Mommy Talks podcast, where we firmly believe that mommying while juggling a business and managing a family can be hard at times. So how are others accomplishing it? Self-appointed Mommy Executive Officer of the Money Making Mommies, Aisha Gillum, will help you redefine what mommying looks like while running a business and managing a family. Here's your host, educator, entrepreneur, and oatmeal raisin cookie lover, Aisha Gillum.
Hi guys, and welcome back. Before I jump into this episode, I wanted to start this off a little bit different. Since I have been MIA, I wanted to start this episode by saying I'm truly sorry from the bottom of my heart for just going MIA and not giving you guys any explanation. So before I even have the audacity to start this episode, I wanted to make sure that I apologized first, because I am truly grateful for any of you that have decided to commit to following along myself on this journey. And so I feel that you are owed some form of explanation. This year has truly been difficult for me. Just to say the least, I had moved earlier this year thinking that, hey, I'm on this budget, I'm going to be saving money, so this new place is going to be awesome. And it was not that, or it has not been that since I moved into the new place. It's just helping me realize like I really have to buckle down even more to make sure that I set myself up, or my family up, to live this better life that I am committed to providing for them. And in addition to just the move situation, I then had surgery back in August. Now, this was surgery that I self-inflicted. It was a birthday present to myself, and it was freaking awesome. I'm so thankful that I was able to go through that, and I made it out. And it's just, I went into that as well with false expectations. I originally thought that it would only take 6 weeks for me to heal, and it's taking a little bit longer. And so it's just, you guys are being exposed to like my real life happening. And so there will be bumps in the road. But again, I appreciate each of you that have gotten in this car with me and are riding along. So let me go ahead and get in this driver's seat and get on with this episode, right? So it's on financial abuse. And what is financial abuse? Oftentimes when we hear the word abuse, we associate it with only meaning emotional or physical abuse. But the truth is, there are many types of abuse, which may include physical abuse, emotional or psychological abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, abandonment, self-neglect, and financial abuse. It is my belief that society teaches us to shame a victim of abuse as if they have done something wrong to deserve it. No matter the type of abuse someone has experienced or is experiencing, it often goes unreported due to societal norms, taboos, stigma, and the sensitive nature of the subject. After running across this long list of the different types of abuse one can encounter, the one that caught my attention was financial abuse, especially since I had never heard of it before, although I have always felt that one's financial situation plays a huge part in them accepting any other forms of abuse. So what is financial abuse exactly? Financial abuse involves controlling a victim's ability to acquire, use, and maintain financial resources. Those who are victimized financially may be prevented from working. They also may have their own money restricted or stolen by the abuser. And rarely do they have complete access to money and other resources. When they do have money, they often have to account for every single penny they spend. Now, financial planning is the best way to combat financial stress, but many Americans, including myself at one time, prefer to ignore the problem, which ultimately only makes matters worse. In 2017, I was so tired of just trying that I just began settling. And if you have been following along, this is something that you've already heard me say, but this is going to be a little bit more in depth into that situation, because I had to do a little bit digging deep after running across this and apply it to my own situation, because it fits so perfectly. I met the man that I thought was my Clark Kent. Becoming a single mom of 2 sons had actually helped me discover just how strong I truly was. But because of my conditioning, no matter how strong I may have seemed, I had always felt deep down that in order to provide my sons the best life possible, I needed someone to save me, whether that be a man or the government. It was like I felt that it was someone else's responsibility to make sure that we were okay. Don't get me wrong, sure, I would work a job, sometimes even 2 or 3 jobs to support my family. But unlike Kevin Gates, I do get tired. And because I didn't have a clear understanding of what love was or looked like, this man was able to break me down over a short period of time. He was controlling, jealous, paranoid, and worst of all, abusive. While he never abused my children, he was violently abusive to me on more than one occasion. Here was a man with some money who had no children of his own and was willing to help me in raising my sons. He would go out and buy us things. At the time, I felt that his acts were simply acts of kindness. So you can only imagine that during the wooing stage of the relationship, I thought I had hit the jackpot. Now, what I had not realized during any of this is that financial abuse is often the first sign of dating violence and domestic abuse. Because before the physical or emotional abuse, more than likely comes money issues. I was asked to take out a car title loan on one of my cars to help him out, with little to no details on what I was helping him out with, only assured that he'd pay it back. But guess what? I ended up getting stuck paying it all back on my own. The physical abuse didn't take long to escalate. It started out as a choke here, a punch to the jaw there. I think his attacks were somewhat contained because I had my sons 95% of the time. But when we were truly alone, I ended up on one occasion with 2 black eyes. Now, after beating me for what seemed like hours, he then treated me as if I were a wounded animal that he'd found on the side of the road and took care of me and my bruises that he had inflicted. It was so sickening. I somehow managed to fall asleep in his arms, but I was truly terrified for my life after that incident. Women with abusive partners often face tremendous threats to their financial well-being and barriers to realizing their personal financial capability. Their abusers typically use physical, psychological, and economic tactics to isolate, control, exploit, and terrorize their partners. For many women, these actions have devastating consequences because victims often become financially dependent on their abusers. This financial dependence traps them into the relationship, and without resources, they are unable to see a way out of their situation. Therefore, a large number of them stay due to the fear of not being financially stable on their own. I don't know which is worse, the abuse that a woman experiences at the hands of a person who claims to love her, or the justice system put in place failing to keep her safe. On March 8, 2021, just one day after 7 women were shot dead at 3 different massage parlors near Atlanta, Georgia, the House was able to get approved with bipartisan support a reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, a 1994 law that has since been introduced into Congress and has lapsed several times since being initially introduced. This law is or was set to protect and provide resources for victims of domestic abuse and sexual violence. Around the debate on this matter, President Biden was recorded saying, "This should not be a Democrat or Republican issue. It's about standing up against the abuse of power and preventing violence." The sad thing about his statement is that he is absolutely correct. This should not be a Democrat or Republican issue, but some of those people that were sworn into office as the voice of the people view this as nothing more than that, an issue amongst the parties. As a victor, of domestic violence myself, I find it disturbing that someone that sells drugs to provide a way for their family could be sentenced to more time on their first offense than someone who beats and tortures a woman for hours because she happened to survive the attack instead of being killed, even if that was her attacker's intentions, because it may have been the first time reported. No, I am not endorsing someone selling drugs, only using that as a point that the laws weren't really intended to protect us. This episode is meant to bring that to your awareness, that someone in charge deemed selling drugs as more harmful than being violent towards women. Women are not being protected or respected. Therefore, it's extremely important that she be able to identify financial abuse as a way to protect herself, since it is mainly her responsibility for doing so. Here are some examples of how financial abuse typically starts out. Trying to control your use of or access to money you have earned or saved. Taking money or using credit cards without permission. Ruining your credit history by running up limits and then not paying bills. Claiming to make payments or pay bills in your name but not following through. Borrowing money or making charges without repaying it. Expecting you to pay for their bills or their obligations. Requiring you to bail them out of difficult financial situations. Now, the forms of financial abuse tend to vary from situation to situation. But the majority of the time, the abuser may use subtle tactics like manipulation, while other abusers may be more overt, demanding, and intimidating. Regardless of the attacker's methods, I urge all of you, for your family's sake, to focus on improving your financial literacy and money management skills, as it will benefit you and your family in the long run. It is your only way to ensure that you aren't subjected to any form of abuse, especially financial abuse. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please reach out for more support. You are not alone. I would like to take the last few moments that we have together just to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for visiting with me today. And ask that if you could take a few more moments just to leave the show a review, I would greatly appreciate it. And if no one has told you today, you are freaking awesome. So until next time, you take care of yourself and those babies, you money-making mommy you.
Thanks for listening to the Mommy Talks podcast. Dive into the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at www.mommytalkspodcast.com. If you love this show, share it with a friend. The more the merrier. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, you money-making mommy you.